Welcome to our live coverage here from Farnborough. I'm actually here on the Airbus roof terrace. It's actually remarkable. In fact, you haven't got a better seat in the house. You've got the runways right behind me. You've got the Airbus A350 from Qatar just over there. And of course, you've got the A220, the latest member of the Airbus family. That'll be doing a flight display very soon. We'll bring that to you. We've got experts as well. And after that, we'll have the A400M. Of course, what is that? It's the best, most advanced military transport plane that exists anywhere in the world. Also taking part in the flight display. I have a guest there to talk to us about that plane as well. One thing I should say is the weather is fantastic. Well, who thought that would be the case when you remember what it was like here 2 years ago? And if the weather's great, so is the optimism. A couple of facts I want to give you first. Did you know an Airbus plane somewhere around the world lands or takes off every 1.4 seconds? It's remarkable, isn't it? Think of how many have just landed since I started talking here. On top of that, we have a special team at Airbus. They look in their crystal ball and they come up with a global market forecast. Basically, what they're looking at is how many planes will be needed over the coming 20 years. And they looked in that crystal ball and they announced just recently that 37,000 new aircraft will be needed over the next 20 years. 60% of that new demand will come from emerging economies. Why? Basically because there's a growing middle class. The middle class in emerging countries will double. They'll have more disposable income, and of course they want to travel. And for those of you who want to become pilots, here's the great news. 500,000 new pilots, according to Airbus, will be needed over the next 20 years. So if you haven't got your pilot's license yet, start working on it now, and you have a great future for you. Turning to today, we'll have the A22, the 220 display, of course, we'll have the 400M. But first of all, the British Prime Minister, Theresa May, opened the salon just this morning, and one of the first things she did was visit Airbus. You can see our President, Tom Enders, and his deputy, Guillaume Faury, showing the Prime Minister around that A220, along with, of course, the CEO of Bombardier as well. A very powerful message there from the British Prime Minister coming to Airbus. Really, one of the first things she did when she arrived at the salon to be opened. Just a reminder that you can catch us on just remember, you can catch us on YouTube, on Twitter, you can catch us on Facebook as well. Remember the hashtag, #WeMakeItFly. So you send us your tweets and we'll be talking about that a bit later on, of course. One thing I do want to show is what happened earlier, just about an hour ago. We had the first Airbus planes flying. One of them, of course, the A330 Neo. And I want to show you the pictures of the A330 Neo there, taking off about an hour ago. You know, this is the best-selling wide-body plane that Airbus has. I think they've sold something like 1,700 to about 117 customers, which is remarkable. And of course, it has what's called the airspace by Airbus. Well, what does that mean? It means that as a passenger, you have more space. The mood lighting is incredible. The bathroom is more user-friendly, more comfort for the cabins. Actually, it's an amazing aircraft. And of course, it'll be going into service after the summer. The other plane, of course, that took off is the A350 1000. It's called the XWB, and we'll be seeing those pictures very shortly. Once again, this is the A330 Neo. In fact, there's two of them here. There's the Airbus one, and there's one with the Portuguese the TAP as well, who will be going. They're the entry into service aircraft as well. So, the other aircraft that we took off earlier was the A350 1000. You can see it here. Extra WB, extra wide body, so that means incredible space for passengers. And not only that, it's the ultra long range. They can go up to 19 hours non-stop, which is going to be extremely important for airlines that want to do really long haul. And for passengers, of course, who want to go from a hub straight to a destination. So here you can see it here, the A350 1000, a beautiful aircraft. And also, I can tell you that there have been at least 2 A350 orders, new sales announced today, one from China, one from Taiwan, for this A350, and there'll be many more. I think we're close to 900 orders for this aircraft from something like 44 customers. We'll, of course, be carrying live coverage throughout the week of these aircraft taking off as well. So if you missed it, you'll get a chance to see this all again over the week, because we'll have so much to show you over the coming days. And there it was, landing about an hour ago. Perfect landing there, of course. One thing we'll be doing throughout the week is something called Meet the Expert at Airbus. You know, it's not just commercial planes. We're in the satellite business, we're in the defense business, the helicopter business. And of course, today we're going to kick off because the A220 really is the star of the first day. And so what's key about this is that someone has to sell this plane. We've already had one key sale just last week when the plane was unveiled in its new colors as part of the Airbus family, as the A220, JetBlue in the States announced a huge order for 60 of them. So already things are starting really well. But the man who has to sell it is Eric Schultz. He talked to us about the challenges lying ahead. He's our first guest in Meet the Expert. You're joining me here at the delivery center. This is where Airbus actually hands over its new aircraft to its customers. But today, there's actually one aircraft here which is brand new and it's part of the new Airbus family. It's the A220, which of course is part of the partnership between Bombardier and Airbus. Of course, Airbus now has to sell this A220. And the person who's actually in charge of that is with me right now. It's Eric Schultz. Hello, good to see you.
Morning, Chris. Welcome to the Airbus Delivery Center. And what I would offer is, why don't we go and have a look at the plane?
With pleasure. Let's go.
So, Chris, welcome in this brand new A220-300. This is the new brand for the C-Series airplane. We are inside a beautiful cabin, the most modern cabin for regional and a new single-aisle market. I mean, this is clearly the best of the two worlds. Beautiful work being done by our friends in Bombardier who have delivered a fantastic airplane and now joining forces with us where we provide all of the support, all of the marketing and strategic support and all of the service support.
As we talk about this, you haven't talked about what the market potential is. How many could you sell of these, do you think?
I would say for these aircraft, the A220, 100 and 300, we see several thousands. I think 3,000 airplane market is about right.
So you've got quite a few busy days ahead of you.
Yes, we have some busy days, very exciting days. I think, again, that's where the combination of our friends in Bombardier and the power of Airbus will join together. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for both of us. I think we are much better together than we were separated, which is the aim of any joint venture, any, I would say, relationship and partnership you set in these kinds of business is not to see what we could have done. It's always to be convinced that what we can do together is much bigger, much greater than what we could have done separately.
So when you see the Boeing Embraer deal, which just happens to be by coincidence that they've done that.
Maybe. Your words.
Are you scared?
Well, I am not. So first of all, I am not scared. I think we, again, they came after us. There are obvious complements that we are bringing with Bombardier. First of all, the aircraft is much closer to our single line and it complements our lines. The space between the Embraer 195 and the Boeing 737 is massive.
You're relatively new to this company.
Yeah.
You've got a big responsibility ahead of you.
Yes.
Farnborough, of course. What's your thoughts? You've got a big job ahead of you.
Yeah, the job is big. The challenges are huge. My predecessor was a fantastic guy. He had a very, very successful career after 27 years in the business. I won't do 27 years in the business, obviously, but I come with probably a different perspective. I started my, by the way, I am one of the oldest one in this company, having started in Aerospatiale and Airbus, because I started in this company in 1986. I believe that the company has changed. There are new challenges. This challenge was unknown 3 or 4 years ago. It is now our challenge to make it work. You're right, challenge creates opportunities. I am an optimist, so I always look for the leverages, the positive leverage we can get on stuff. And yes, it's a big challenge, but it's a fantastic challenge at the end of the day.
Eric, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
So Eric Schultz there. In fact, if you were following us on Instagram this morning live, you would have seen us with Eric Schultz calmly talking on the terrace there with us about what he'd be doing today. You know, he's been involved in so many of those announcements of new orders for A320s, of course for the A350s. He's got a very difficult and long day ahead of him, and a very long week ahead of him. But so far, the news has been extremely positive from him. And tomorrow's Meet the Expert, we'll be looking at the space sector. We've got some remarkable pictures to show you from the satellite industry. We went behind the scenes, and that's really worth watching. So catch up with us tomorrow. And I should say that I can just see right now the A220 getting ready for its takeoff here at the flight display. This, of course, is part of the partnership between Bombardier and Airbus. But you know what? Enough of me talking. Let's hear from the real expert. Joachim, come along with me here. Joachim, hello, good to see you.
Good afternoon to everyone, and good to invite me here, Chris. So,
well, we're going to be seeing a lot of each other over the week.
I think so.
You'll be fed up with me at the end. But what I want is your expertise. Now, we see the plane there getting ready for its takeoff. This is, well, I think Tom Mendes said this was the baby sister to the big brother of the 320. Tell me a bit more.
It's, I think, a terrific opportunity that we have to incorporate into our single-aisle family those two new aircraft that we were just revealing last week back in Toulouse. Today, what we have here is an A220-300, which is the bigger of the two. And yes, it's a fantastic incorporation into our single-aisle family. Pretty much with these new arrivals, we have two aircraft delivering unbeatable levels of fuel efficiency. We have two aircraft providing superior single-aisle comfort, and also what we are saying about them, those aircraft, they are radical innovators. It's a clean sheet design for a new category of the market that we were not addressing before. So right now, with these two new aircraft for a new market that we want just to go in right now.
Okay, for anyone who's been like living in a cave for the last month and don't know what's going on, why are we calling it the 220?
It's the new arrival that we have into the family. Those two aircraft, they are right now going to be serving what we call the small single aisle category. So basically they are going into the 100 to 150 seat category. So basically they are complementing our A320 family. So immediately below the A320 we have the A220. That's probably the reason of the name.
How many customers are there at the moment currently flying it?
Flying it, we have delivered so far 38 aircraft, and we have 3 different customers. We have Korean Air, we have Swiss, and also Air Baltic. And as a matter of fact, we have also on the static display, we have an A220 from Air Baltic.
Just to let you know, we'll be looking at that Air Baltic in a live tomorrow on Instagram. So if you want to see what it looks like inside with the pilots and the Bombardier team, do join us tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock UK time, and we'll have that. Yeah. One thing is that this plane actually at the moment is made in Quebec, but it's also going to be made in Mobile. Tell me about that.
That's going to be it. So at this stage, the final assembly line that we have is the one in Mirabel. But shortly, we are going to make operational also the mobile final assembly line for the A220. Today, we are delivering an already mobile A320 family members. So the objective is to be delivering for the US market all the A220s in the future from Mobile, Alabama. So we will have 2 final assembly lines, and then later on we'll see. At this stage, those are the 2 final assembly lines that we are planning to have.
And as you can see, if our viewers can see there, it's getting ready. It's on the runway, so it should be taxiing pretty soon on its first Farnborough flight, basically.
And it's not only the first Farnborough, I would say it's the first Farnborough under the Airbus colors. The aircraft has been flying before in other shows, but I think this is a very special occasion to see it with the Airbus livery, with the new brand, flying and doing the first flying display on behalf of us. So that's a great moment for us.
Now, you say mobile, so when will we see the first made in America A220?
If I have the figure right, I think it's going to be in 2020. That's going to be the first one that should be delivered from Mobile. At this stage, when we are looking pretty much into delivery slots, for this year we have no further delivery slots. There are a couple of them for 2019, so we need to project ourselves when we are talking now with prospective customers, 2020 and onwards, to have available slots for them to have one of the 2 variants of the aircraft.
I just want to say that if you're looking there, you can also see the 400M there. Getting ready for its takeoff right after the 220. You've got a great shot there of the 220 getting ready first, and the 400M right after that. So they're both getting prepared there, and we'll carry those both, of course, live here. One thing which I also thought was interesting is that, by having it, a lot of people said, this doesn't seem to make sense. But this is a great partnership, right?
I think it's a fantastic partnership. I think that, as I was mentioning before, this aspect of the radical innovator and the clean sheet design, this aircraft is pretty much bringing and condensating in it all the decisions that we would have made if we had decided to launch a brand new aircraft. You have an aircraft that has composite wings, advanced aluminium alloys in the fuselage. It's equipping also last generation GTF engines, so it's like one of the applications of on our A320neo. You have also an aircraft that is fly-by-wire. It has an advanced cockpit that everyone will have the chance to see tomorrow. And in terms of passenger comfort, for its size, is the superior single-aisle comfort that you can offer. You have seats which are 18-inch plus wide, like on our A320s. You have big windows. So pretty much everything that you could think of is going to be in the, yes, and we can hear now that the aircraft is getting just ready. That's what they are saying here in Farnborough at this stage.
Okay, and one thing also is that this plane is actually, it's a bargain, right? It's not too expensive for someone I think the retail price is around $85 million or something like that.
I cannot tell you right now, top of my head. When you are looking, is equivalent to what we will have in aircraft of that type of size category. I cannot give you a ballpark figure right now. But the aircraft, we have sold so far 402 of them, so yes, there is a market in there, and we are seeing more of a market in the future in there.
Why did JetBlue buy this? Tell me.
I think that this is a terrific opportunity also for JetBlue. JetBlue right now, when they've been doing their press release and we've been working with them, basically in comparison with the aircraft that they are going to be phasing out, we have seen that this A220 is going to deliver for them economies of 40% lower cost per seat. So this is amazing. When an airline will be able to deliver this type of savings, it's a no-brainer for them.
And roughly, what's the kind of the routes that'll be the most profitable, like 3 hours, 2 hours? What?
I think that the best in this situation is to see what our customers are already doing. And this is very interesting because you will see that the three airlines already fly into the aircraft. They are going to be offering different type of operations. Korean Air, for example, they are flying the aircraft on regional routes that they have around in Asia. You will have Swiss, which is another of the operators that will be flying a lot of short cycles around here in Europe. They are also flying to challenging airports. For example, the aircraft, one of the variants today, is operating already into London City. So that's a tiny airport in the middle of London, and the A220-100 is flying in there. And then you will have the opposite type of operation from Air Baltic, that today they are flying from Lithuania, they are flying into Abu Dhabi. So they are doing a very long sector. So you will have all type of missions. And in the case, for example, of JetBlue, one of the decisions why of getting the aircraft also on board is not only the economics, but it's also the range that the aircraft will be offering and the possibility to do close to transcon missions in the US. So it's very versatile, very flexible. It will be able to do short sectors and long sectors in an efficient and economical way.
Joachim, I remember last year when I was there in Toulouse when it was unveiled by the CEO of Airbus, Tom Enders. He said this is kind of like the baby sister to the big brother, the A320. It's like an adopted member of the family. It really is the Airbus family now.
Completely, it's the Airbus family, and we are very proud and happy for all the new team that we are incorporating from Mirabel. We need to learn from them because they have know-how and an expertise of a sector of the market where we haven't been present in the last few years, and we want to get in. So this is really a partnership that we have with them, and we are with open arms welcoming everyone from the Mirabel team right now to work with us.
Because it's two different cultures getting to meet. I mean, that's Canadian culture, Canadian American culture, and of course the European cultures. Two different ways of working. How's it going so far?
I think that is part also of the Airbus DNA. Airbus, when we look back in time, it has been the result of incorporating the four initial home countries, the French, the Germans, the Brits, and the Spaniards in there. We are used to work with different nationalities. Right now, the benefit is that with the addition of Canadians, we are having an additional way of working. So far, it's great. It's terrific. It's very good to have a different point of view, different way of doing things. Very good.
And of course, if I wanted to buy an A220 from you, if I called you up and said I want one, how long would I have to wait to get one?
So as I was mentioning, we have a couple of slots for next year. Ideally, probably I will need to propose you something for 2020. That's when we can start talking again about available slots and later on.
Just while we're here, while we're waiting for the A320 to take off for the first time in Farnborough, let's just talk about those two other airplanes we saw earlier, the 330 Neo and the 350, of course. There was a couple of 350 orders made today from China.
We have, yes, Chinese, they've been making some announcement. We have also the case of Starlux, which is a newcomer into the market. They've been ordering both A350s, different versions of the A350. So yes, it's great time in the air show. And what I would say for everyone, keep on watching. I'm sure that we are going to be making very interesting further announcements along the week.
I'm sure you will be.
Yeah.
As we're waiting for the 220 to take off, it's obviously taking a bit of time because it wants to show off. It's looking around, it's going, wow, I've got a big crowd here.
Yeah.
It's attention seeker.
I would say it's not shy. It's just getting the right moment.
And of course the 400M is waiting as well to go there, and we're really looking forward to seeing that one going up as well.
Absolutely.
As it gets ready though, I think it'll be taking off in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Just to remind you, if you're watching us here, of course, we are on the hashtag We Make It Fly. You can catch us on YouTube, you can catch us on all the usual suspects, Twitter, Facebook, they're all there, and you can catch us there. And if you want to send us a tweet, go ahead and do it, and we'll show the best tweets throughout the day, throughout the whole week, in fact. And we have one of our own tweets we want to show you from, surprise, surprise, from the football last night. The French came very cheery mood, smiling today. So we'll show you the tweet that came up from the Airbus staff, which is quite funny at the end. But do send us your tweets, your pictures that you want, and we'll show the best ones tomorrow and throughout the week. And of course, remember as well, we have the Meet the Experts. Tomorrow we look at what we're doing in the satellite industry, which is really quite remarkable. We've also went to Marseille to see what our colleagues in the helicopter field are doing. That's quite good, and it's just actually remarkable as well what they're doing there. And they showed us the wind tunnel there, and that's really phenomenal. I don't know if you've been to there. Have you been to the Marseille?
No, not yet, but I need to do it.
You need to go there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've got this new helicopter, the H-160, which is remarkable.
Fantastic. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
And so as we're waiting here for this one to take off, I would say it's any minute now, wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, it's going to be any time now.
Well, the good news is that even though the weather's just really warm, it's actually cooler. I thought we'd be absolutely fried here.
Yeah, so I have a recollection from previous show, and right now we have a certain number of clouds and a nice wind, so I think that we couldn't have found a better moment to have the aircraft on display right now. A lot of people around, fantastic setup that we have here, like usual in all air shows. Very great ambience. A lot of customers today already visiting us. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of work, a lot of things ongoing for the week.
And I mentioned earlier, just as we went on air, the British Prime Minister, one of the first things she did was come to see this 220.
Yeah,
that was a very strong message. Yeah, it's a strong message.
I think so. Part of the aircraft, when you are looking, because the approach that they are taking there in Mirabel is the same as the one we have with our other Airbus products. Basically, you have the wings manufactured in different facilities, fuselage in other areas. So part of the A320 is manufactured in Belfast. So I'm sure that this is also on the UK side, big endorsement that they want to make also for their own industry.
So what did the Prime Minister say to you?
I don't know. I haven't seen him so far.
Well, next time when you get promoted, she'll come and see you directly, I think. Well, we understand that the engines have just been put into a more powerful mode, so we expect this plane to leave very soon.
We can start hearing that roaring.
We don't want to go into actual numbers, but we think the market potential for this plane is actually huge. We don't want to go to, but we were talking in the thousands, aren't we?
Yes, that is going to be the case. The aircraft is part of what we call, the small market for in terms of category, where basically, I mean, all of it, if we talk from 100 seats to 230 seats. Only last week we were doing the reveal of the Airbus GMF, and we were counting for more than 28,000 aircraft that will be sold in that category in the next 20 years. And of course, the A320 is part of that category. So yes, they will be taking a chunk of that part of those 28,000 for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think actually we were even, the global market forecast is for 37,000 new aircraft needed over the 20 years.
Absolutely. That's the global one where we are adding the 4 different categories. This is a first this year. where basically we've been splitting the market into a small, medium, large, and extra large category. And yeah, the total is about 37,000 planes for the next 20 years. So it's an amazing number. The industry keep on growing. It keep on doubling each 15 years. So we have, I think that we are lucky. We are in a healthy, growing industry.
And also, I think the global market forecast people said that 500,000 pilots will be needed over the next 20 years.
That's the other element that is scary. I mean, we are going to have a lot of people training for pilots.
So if you think about becoming a pilot, go get your license now, because the future is looking very rosy for you.
I think so.
Well, we're still waiting. It's a little bit late taking off here, but the A220 will be taking off very shortly, and of course we'll be bringing that to you live. And right after that, the A400M, of course. Do you know much about that plane? Of course, you're from Spain, so of course so much of that is taking place down there.
I know that it's assembly there in Seville, but I can tell you that I haven't been involved at all with the military side. So we know that it has a dual certification, military and civil. It's an aircraft where the Airbus civil organization, they've been very involved in the past. And I think that they have also on the pipeline new deals that probably will be announced at some moment in time, soon enough. So yeah, no, it's a fantastic plane also.
Okay, and as we're looking at the A220, and just to our right, of course, we see the Qatar's A350 there.
Yeah. So that's part of the static display that we have. As I was referring, we have another A220 from Air Baltic. But then we have an A330neo from TAP that we will be delivering later on the year. We are going to be delivering also this year to the people from TAP. We are going to be delivering to WOW. Oh, there you are.
There you go. I think it's moving now, so I think it'll be taking off very shortly.
Yeah,
so
I guess
this is for everyone who's watching. This will be the first time the 220 takes off at the Farnborough Air Show, and it'll be taking off at Farnborough Air Shows for a long time to come, won't it?
I'm sure of that.
And just a reminder that this was only unveiled just last week, wasn't it?
Yes, that was on last Tuesday. We were inviting a lot of colleagues and friends from the press, and we were having a nice ceremony there in Toulouse where we were doing the unveiling. And the aircraft, after all the unveiling, was just landing in there. It was a great moment, very emotional for everyone. It's when you have a new coming to the family.
And of course, almost as soon as it was announced, it was revealed. Then the first order.
Immediately, the very same afternoon, we have the announcement from JetBlue. So that was a great endorsement. And as I was mentioning before, is the endorsement on JetBlue, because they've been flying in this category they have aircraft from the competition, from Embraer, and the decision they took is to phase out that aircraft and incorporate in exchange A220. So I think it's a fantastic endorsement.
And I'm sure, without revealing anything, who knows, there could be other orders coming.
I'm sure of that. Watch this space, wait for the coming days. I think that we are going to keep on hearing very good things about this aircraft.
So you said you've got a lot of customers coming here talking to you about it, suppliers as well. I mean, this is real. You're talking to everyone. It's not just about selling planes, it's about talking to people.
This is a big celebration of the industry. This is a time for making business, and it's making business not only with the airlines, but also we have suppliers that we need to work with, because whether they are providing us with the engines or aircraft systems. So we need to be working with them, and
here we go.
That this one is a fantastic opportunity.
Here we go.
There you are.
Let's just give it a little pause as we listen to this new member of the family taking off for the first time at Farnborough. Well, there you go. That's basically these flight displays, they usually are out in the air for like 7 minutes or so. There's a two-man crew on this. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. There you are, beautiful.
A great turn there.
Yeah. You were mentioning the aspect about the noise, but then this aircraft is hardly noticeable. It's not only the benefits that it's delivering for the airlines in terms of fuel burn saving, but it's also the reduction on emissions, the environmental side.
That's
the aircraft has 50% less NOx emissions, has also a reduced noise footprint. So from the environmental standpoint, this is a very good plane also.
As we see the 220 there, basically on a 7-minute flight there with this two-man crew. I just want to recap that there's been a whole bunch of announcements from Airbus this morning already. I'm sure you were involved in some of that a little bit.
Well, maybe.
But we had, of course, 350 announcements, a whole bunch of 320 announcements as well.
Yeah, quite a few of them. from some undisclosed customers in some cases, and lessors and airlines. Things are coming.
Just to tell you about the crew who are on this, we've got two crew members. We've got Andres Litevenikis, who's the flight test pilot on the 220, and we've got David Lewandowski, who's the chief pilot on this, as it goes right past us now.
There you are.
Steep rise there. It'll go to about 3,000 feet up, I think. That's the idea.
Yeah.
And then do a sharp turn. So you've been working on this for a while. What's your thoughts as you see it here at Farnborough?
Oh, I can tell you it's a fantastic adventure. We've been preparing for this moment since quite a few months ago. It has been very intense. A lot of people across all the commercial directorate, we were gearing up to have the aircraft and welcome it and have everything ready to immediately hit the road and go outside and sell it. So it's very emotional. It's great to see it now here, participating in Airbus colors, in our flying display, and with, as you were mentioning before, this last week announcement for JetBlue.
I had a look inside the plane last week, and one thing I haven't talked enough about is really the space in there, and the overhead bins as well is really, there's a lot of space there.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes, it's what I was referring at the very beginning is the superior single aisle comfort for this type of category. Basically, you will have in terms of seat width equivalent to our other A320 products. Even the middle seat is wider than what you will expect. You have then the overhead storage compartments that will allow every passenger to have at least one piece of luggage. You have very vertical side walls, large windows. So on and on from the comfort standpoint, it's brilliant. It's a very well-designed plane.
So the passenger will really notice a difference.
They will notice the difference when they are going to be comparing with aircraft like the Embraers and the other competitors. There is no match. I can tell you they will feel completely all the design codes and all the key pillars that we have on our single aisle cabin for the A320, they will recognize it in this A220.
Look at it, just flying past us now, showing off. Looks great there.
Yeah, yeah.
As I think it'll turn to the right, and then it'll probably begin its descent.
For the landing, yeah.
And of course, just stay with us because the 400M will be taking off right after that. You can see it on the runway there. I can see it right there, getting ready as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very quiet aircraft. In case you know, anyone who's watching now will be going, "Wow, this is such a quiet plane."
You can hear more the aircraft and all the noise that we have on the ground than this one flying when it's passing by.
It turns there now, banks to the left. So once again, the 220, the latest member of the Airbus family, flying for the first time under the Airbus colours at Farnborough, already has 3 airlines running it.
Yeah, Korean, Air Baltic and Swiss.
And Air Baltic have kindly brought theirs over. We'll be looking at that tomorrow, if you watch us. Again, reminder, we make it fly. The hashtag, we make it fly. You can catch us everywhere on social media.
Another pass by.
Another pass by. Look at that.
There you are.
Joachim, there's a lot of customers out there, you said, who are looking at this aircraft. If they, is your mobile phone open? If they want to come and buy one from you, can they talk to you?
Yes, they can.
If they buy 50, do they get one free? It's the summer sales in France.
We'll sit, we'll talk, we'll make a deal.
Okay, we'll just keep your mobile phone open because I'm sure you're going to get a few people calling you right after this because they want to talk. As it turns there, and of course the 400M there getting ready as well, anxious to get out there in the skies. We're of course on the Airbus roof terrace watching this. This is probably the best place to watch this taking place, right?
I think that we couldn't have a better place.
As it turns, I think, to land, right? Yeah, and we really are in the best place.
And we can get here in the engines of the 400M gearing up.
As it turns towards us now. It took off late, but it was worth it, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
And I can tell you there's a large crowd out close to the runway, all taking photographs, watching, marveling at this. And of course, A lot of people from the press here as well watching this, gazing. They're really quite dazzled by this as much as we are. And there's the 400M. So, Joachim, it's been great talking to you. We'll be talking to you a lot over the coming days. All right?
Take care,
Good to see you.
Bye.
So there you go. That's the 220 there, about to land. And of course the 400M just taking off now. And of course I'm so lucky I have a new guest.
Wow.
George, good to see you. You're
Yes,
part of
hi,
the
Chris.
marketing team on the Airbus military side. So tell me, what are we seeing here?
Yeah, we are just seeing one of the maneuverability of the aircraft. You just make a steep nose up to 25 degrees, even 30. I think it was this one. And now, as you see, you're going really, really slow after banking about 60 degrees. And now it's rolling and making a deep, deep, deep descent. This high maneuverability is really interesting when we're going in any hostile environment. Imagine we have to escape, make an escape route really quick. All this maneuverability really helps to that, to escape and move in a really agile way.
How many crew will be on this plane right now?
Actually, now we are with two pilots, Tony Flynn and François Brun. All of those are working for Airbus as experimental test pilots. Tony is ex-RAF, and also François is from the French Air Force, ex-French Air Force.
Now, we're in the UK, of course, and the RAF has plenty of these, right? They have like a couple dozen of these aircraft.
Yeah, so far we've delivered 20 of them, and they're going to have 22 more. In fact, this aircraft here, which is MSN 56, now is in the hands of Airbus, making some flight testing, the final batches of flight testing we are taking. And after that, it's going to be handed out again to the UK.
How many have actually been ordered and how many are actually in service at the moment?
Okay, so far we have been contracted by 8 nations, and we're having 174 firm orders. And so far, we have 65 aircrafts in operation. And we have accumulated more than 36,000 hours.
And when we talk about 8 countries, we're talking about 7 NATO countries plus Malaysia, is that right?
Exactly, yeah. First, it was all the launch nations. Here we have, of course, the UK, plus France, and Spain, Germany. These are the main countries for the main orders. And later we're moving for Turkey, Luxembourg, and Belgium.
Now, if you're here at this air show, it's not just to look at airplanes. You're looking at potential new markets, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah, so far we are having a look really deep on Asia, and as well as on the Middle East for export.
Now, what's amazing about this airplane, it's for defense, but it also is really heavily involved in the humanitarian work. Tell me about that.
Exactly. In fact, last year, the Royal Air Force was helping in the Caribbean after the aftermath of the Hurricane Irma. They were delivering supplies, and the beauty of this aircraft is that all these deliveries were right where they needed, right to the point of need. This is because this aircraft is mixing tactical and strategic capacities. So it can fly long distances, up to 4,800 nautical miles, but also it can carry really big loads, up to 37 tons.
Like I heard, it's going very slowly there. That's
yeah,
and
maybe
sharply up.
now at this moment is below 90 knots.
Wow.
Which is quite slow.
And the thing is, I think
now it's making the steep descent. Yeah.
And you can put like mobile cranes on. You can put rescue boats. Yeah, I think you told me 3 helicopters.
Yeah, for the Ecu-Rail, the small one, the utility one, we can go up to 3. In fact, the Spanish Air Force already made that last year. And for instance, the Turkeys, they are delivering to Afghanistan the Black Hawk, which is much bigger helicopter.
And of course, it also can act as a refueling aircraft as well.
Yes, any A400M can be a refueler aircraft. And this is quite an advantage comparing to our competitors, because we are not compromising at all the cargo hold area. We are just putting the pods or even the central line hose, and that will be it. We are talking about just putting in hours and not compromising the cargo hold area.
And tell me about the numbers of paratroopers you can get on this, troops on it.
Okay, the configuration, which is certified, is 116, the capacity. And up to now, we can go in sticks of 30 30 paratroops simultaneously, but we are increasing that number to go up to 58. So meaning 58 for each side, up to the 116, which is the total capacity.
The thing is, you're based in Spain, so you're used to seeing this. For us, it's amazing seeing this plane. And I think actually it had a pride of place on Bastille Day in France. It flew over the Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, it was quite a day there. It was really amazing how also the French are quite proud of this aircraft. They are using it in operation. And also the incredible thing is that they are dividing sometimes by 2 and by 3 the time that they needed to perform their missions. Before, they were using the C-160, the Transall, which also the Germans were using it to make all these operations in Africa. But now with A400M, they can go straight to an unpaved airstrip.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really understand this unpaved strip. Basically, it means that if you have to land somewhere which is rough terrain, it doesn't need a runway.
Exactly. In fact, the Royal Air Force even landed on a beach, on a natural beach, here in Pain-Bressans.
Wow.
So it was quite an amazing test that we made. And now I'm glad to say that all the certification for the unpaved runway is done, meaning that we can deliver full capacity of the aircraft in any surface, grass or soil, as I said, on sand. So it's quite an impressive feature of the aircraft capability.
Now, you're here not just for doing deals, but you're also talking to suppliers, I guess. You're talking to everyone in the community. Just it's a chance for you to meet everyone at the same time, at the same place.
Exactly. And also now we are, now the aircraft is getting mature and mature. As imagine that the first delivery took place in 2013, and this aircraft has been flying since 2009. I would like to now for you to pay attention, because now the aircraft is going to make a really short landing. You are going to see they are going to put full reverse. You are seeing now. And maybe if we are lucky, they are going to put backwards now. So it's going to be really nice.
So explain to me why the short landing is so important.
Yeah, you see now it's getting backwards. So short landing is really important for a mission that we need to be in a hostile environment, not to be discovered, to use an airstrip, and now you see they're opening the ramp, so we can make what we call the combat assault, meaning that we can deploy troops or vehicles really quick in an area where we have to be agile. Or even for humanitarian, this is really important. Imagine in an area that we don't have or degraded soil, or we don't have a proper airstrip. So usually it's not that long. So this is really incredible what they just performed. They go in this one below 600 meters, I think. So which is quite few meters to make a landing of this kind of aircraft.
And one thing we haven't really talked about is actually the range is huge, isn't it? It can go so far.
Yeah. I mean, the Ferry Range is 4,800 nautical miles, meaning that for Farnborough, we can easily go to Johannesburg or Los Angeles. And if we go with the full capacity of 37 tons, we go up around 1,800.
Okay, so there we go. The 400M there has just completed its first flight at Farnborough this year, and it was a remarkable experience to see those two aircraft there. Basically seeing the A220 for the first time at Farnborough, and then of course the 400M. Is it going to be here for a few days?
Yeah, it will last till Thursday. So every day is going to make a flight display for everyone to enjoy.
And just a reminder, you can actually remember, we make it fly, and we'll be going inside the 400M with the pilots, I believe, on Wednesday afternoon. Well, we'll keep you in touch on when we're doing that, but we're going to do a walk and talk live inside the 400M with the pilots and see just what it's like inside. Yeah. I've not been inside it before, so this will be a great opportunity.
I mean, the first impression that you get is huge. I mean, carrying cargo, imagine the section is 4 meters by 4 meters. Anything can go inside. Any vehicle, like firefighting, a truck, or even a large excavator.
So again, the 400M will be going inside. That will be going inside the 220 tomorrow, by the way.
All right,
having a look with the Bombardier
nice
team.
Too.
We'll be carrying, of course, more of the flight displays tomorrow around 1. On top of that, one thing I want to tell you is, remember, send your tweets to us. We did our own tweet, in fact. We're going to show it to you in a few seconds. This is the tweet from Airbus, and as you can imagine, it's kind of related to football. So if you've got it here, there you go. This is the football tweet. It's a very clever one. It's congratulations, I think, to the NEO World Champions there. It was one of my colleagues, Jeff, who came up with that one. He's very proud of that, actually. And as we sum up here, so thank you very much, Jog. It's been great to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
As we come to the close, remember, we'll be here every day bringing you live coverage of the displays. We'll bring you the latest announcements as well. And we want to hear from you as well. So do send your feedback to us. Do send your tweets. And the best ones, we'll be putting them up throughout the week. So from us here for the time being, it's been great having you. I've loved it. It's been great to have the expert advice from both you and Joachim. And we'll come back to you again very soon. So do stay tuned to us. Thanks very much for watching.